My name's Steve Kepin. Prior to being put on disability, I was a medical device company regional or divisional manager, excuse me, and had been in the pharmaceutical medical device industry for close to 30 years. During 2020 and into 2021, I never tested positive for COVID. I had multiple PCR tests completed at home and at physicians' offices and was actually very diligent about it. I took it very serious. So if I had symptoms or anybody in the family was possibly exposed or had symptoms similar to COVID, we would all take the PCR test. 2021 vaccines came out, and they were in the media and the press, and also strongly recommended by my company. We were pretty much required to have vaccination proof to do our job. To attend trade meetings, we needed to have our vaccination card. To access any of the military bases that we did work with, we needed to have proof of vaccination, and then hospitals and most facilities required proof of vaccination. You would hear the late night talk shows, hey, if you didn't get vaccinated, back of the line type of attitude if you ever had an issue. And I really kind of bought into that. I was believing that, that if you're not going to get vaccinated to protect others, then shame on you. I chose the Pfizer vaccine after doing research, and there was early reports out of Israel showing really favorable outcomes, and encouraged my family members to get the Pfizer as well. I was vaccinated twice in March of 2021. Probably the first sign of a true issue was I had a pulmonary embolism, and in February of 2022, I had my 6-month follow-up CT scan that showed that the PE had resolved, my lungs were clear, and at that point was given basically a clean bill of health, and I got the booster shot. I had significant pain in my arm. It radiated down. It felt like a nerve was on fire. I had a cascade of different events occur. Developed prostatitis, tinnitus. I had a lot of headaches, tremors, some weird neurological stuff. I was probably in the ER close to 30 to 40 times for recurrent chest pain. In May of 2023 was probably the most prolific symptom that was missed by my healthcare providers. I caught an idioventricular rhythm and was basically written off as anxiety, anxious, and yeah, you had an idioventricular rhythm, but it was almost dismissed. I continued to have chest pain throughout 2023 and into 2024. My cardiologist retired. His younger partner came in. I talked to him about all the different symptoms that I was having, and this just incessant chest pain. And asked him, is there anything we can do? And he decided to do a cardiac MRI on me. When the cardiac MRI came back, it showed that I had myocarditis. Here we are in April of 2024, 3 years of, being told that it's all in my head, yet all these different signs and issues are kind of leading up to a focal point. And when I got that myocarditis diagnosis, I was like, wait a minute, time out. This is just too many things to happen in too short an amount of time for me to not have some underlying condition that's causing all this stuff. The myocarditis diagnosis was, I finally felt validated and heard after just being dismissed for a long time. And when that hit, I was like, okay, we got to figure this out. The first thing I did actually was I requested, after looking up for causes of myocarditis, I wanted an infectious disease consult. I wanted a rheumatology consult. and I wanted immunology consult. So they did antibody testing. And that testing came back and it showed that I was nucleocapsid negative, which means that I did not have the natural infection. But my S antibodies, which are from vaccination, were over 5,500. And this is 3+ years after vaccination at that point, which made me start to suspect that I was vaccine injured. And I started digging through literature trying to figure out how in the world can I see if that's what's going on and causing this. Because without knowing what's driving the issues you're having, you're not going to get healed. I looked online and I found Bruce Patterson, and Bruce's company Cell Diagnostics has a test. I went and signed up for that test. They sent me the blood test. I sent everything off, got the results back. I have the S1 spike protein circulating in my monocytes, and which is a white blood cell for your immune system. And I also had the profile that would fit what they called a COVID long hauler, despite never having COVID. To me, that was a smoking gun. One thing that sets me apart, and I think is important for you to understand, is that with the background that I had, it allowed me to dig a little bit deeper than the average individual. And the income that I had allowed me to pay for testing that most people would not be able to afford. I started digging in more to providers that might be able to treat this as a condition because I wasn't getting the care that I needed at some of the local facilities. And I came across Dr. Peter McCullough. I thought he was one of those wackos. The media did a great job portraying him that way. I have a very different opinion of him now. You come back to the journey that I've been on and the different diagnoses, and it's pretty apparent what's occurred, and it pisses me off.